Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Digital Painting Art Show. My name is Jesus Conde, and today we're going to be painting Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad, and we're going to be doing line arts using clipping mask and tracing with photos. So the first thing that we need is to find reference and the photos that we're going to use. In this case, I picked a photo of the actual actress that is going to be on the movie Suicide Squad, which is Margot Robbie, and on the left I have the background that I'm going to use from that scene, and on the right my inspiration, which is an Alex Ross painting and a picture of the Joker on the movie. So today we're going to be doing the line art, which is pretty much the way I do it, is mostly like sketching, and I'm going to be talking about that, but I wanted to show you really quick first how I start. I always start with the head for some reason, and I just wanted to show you this really quick before getting into detail with the theme. And so let's get started. I'm going to explain you what brush I'm going to use for this line art thing, and some of the techniques that you could find really helpful. One of the things that I always do when I'm doing this is not so much like tracing the photo, but like redrawing it. I like to use the shadows and dark parts first. That's the way I start doing this. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the adjustment layer. You can click in that button there, and that way you get these hue and saturation bars that you can use to put it in any color. I use blue most of the time, and it really helps me to see the drawing differently when I'm doing the line art on top. So it really helps. The brush that I'm using is just a circle brush, and then I just change the roundness vertically that way, as you can see, and I got a novel shape now, and the result is really interesting when you're doing the line art. Looks totally different if you were using a circle brush. Looks more interesting in this way. Now we're gonna be doing some sketches, but first I need to get the overall shape of the body. So for now I don't mind too much about the anatomy, since I have a photo. It will be nice to do like a anatomy sketch on top, but as I'm saying, now that we're using a photo, it's not that necessary. But I do need the overall shape to make the sketches. I always do at least three sketches for everything that I'm going to do. If it's something that like a paid work, I do more than 3, of course, because I need as many options as I can. But for now, because it's a tutorial and it's my own painting, I can do just 3 sketches. So basically right now what I'm doing is just trying to find some shapes that I like. In this case, I put it the waist a little bit smaller, and I'm using like the mask of the Catwoman in the old movies, the Tim Burton movies, in this one, and trying to see if I can come up with a cool shape that I can manage to make the traditional kind of suit. But in the real world, this suit will be kind of like a joke. So even that's the reason for the suit, it will be really weird to see her like this. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make another version, like if she cut out a lot of clothes of different colors, like different shades of black and red. So she made the suit herself, like in her free time or something like that. because she just wanted to have a suit or something, kind of like a background story, I don't know. And this way I think it feels more realistic than just having a perfect leather or latex suit like an Harlequin. I think it makes more sense. It also gives the impression of how crazy she is. Like if it was a normal person, it will be really focused on having a really nice suit, but she is more like not really crazy, but kind of crazy person. So she will it will be kind of, it will have more logic to be this way. And now that I got the sketch that I like the most, once I made a decision of which one of them I like more, I just copy that and put it on in the bigger version that I'm going to be doing, because the sketch should be little all the time, should not concentrate on details. But once you have the sketch that you like the most, you can concentrate on details. So now I'm going to tell you about how do I do this kind of line art that is really sketchy. First of all, I don't consider my line art to be great. It's more like really sketchy, doesn't look that clean. But some people tells me that they like it, so that's why I'm explaining how do I do it. And basically it's just doing like if you were painting grass, or you were drawing really little hairs, and when I have to do lines, I just draw one on top of the other. When I'm doing shadows, what I do is this kind of really close lines, one to one side of another, and it really gives that feeling of being really sketchy. I don't think this kind of line art is really well seen working on comic books or stuff like that. They tend to do something more cleaner using other programs that control the lines and makes it look really clean. Mine is more like for concepts, I guess, more like for concept art, sketches, even that is line art. You can use it for that too. So you get that feeling of looks kind of professional, I guess. Like if you give a drawing looking this way, could give the impression that it is really worked, even that it doesn't take that much time. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't take time at all. I mean, for the Harley Quinn, I think it took me about 1 hour to finish the whole thing, the whole line sketch, the line art, and that's a lot of time. But if you're going to present the idea that way, I think it's enough. It's enough time. It's not bad. If you're going to paint it later, it is definitely a lot of time, so you might consider using this technique or not. I always like to do it. The thing is, doing it all the time gives you a lot of practice, and at the end it's just about that. If it doesn't look like this at the first time that you do it, obviously you have to do it more time. I've been doing this kind of line art for years, so that's why it kind of looks, I could say that it looks good. It doesn't look definitely doesn't look bad at all, but it took me some time to understand what I liked, because the thing with the liner is that you have to find something that you liked. So I decided to do this again really quick to explain you how do I do it with the photos. First, I don't always use a photo, but when I use one, I try to not just trace. I try to find the shadows where the shadows are, the darker parts. Not work on everything not work on just one thing. Work everything at once. You can see how I started with the nose, but it's not finished. I started a little bit here with the lips, but I'm going to finish them either. I'm going to jump to another place, and I think this is the best way to do it, because you are developing the drawing, and it's actually more similar to drawing from your mind than just tracing, because when you're tracing you are trying to follow the lines and the edges. Right here I'm just trying to concentrate on the shadows, the borders, how the parts blend together, stuff like that. Or even, it doesn't have to be like that anyway, it could be like, what do you want to see from this picture on your drawing? It doesn't have to be exactly the same thing. In some other drawings that I have done doing this technique, I have to redraw one eye from scratch because the girl had her hair falling to one of her eyes, so I have to redraw the eye from zero. And that's the kind of stuff that you should be looking to develop, not just trace whatever picture you can find. But if you find a good pose and a good picture, but there's something missing, you could just try to do it. That's it. No, don't block yourself. So remember that for doing the blue on the sketch, you click on that little button there in the green circle and click on hue and saturation. You can find that little circle in the layer window at the right, and you can have this layer that is going to make your sketches that on the back. You can make it look like this kind of blue if you like to use it in blue. I really like to sketch on top of blue, and that way you can just organize your workflow, and you can find a really it's a really nice way of working, because it allows you to see what you have behind, but it doesn't distract you much as it was in colors. So you can see that in the sketch, it's just that, a sketch. All the details, all the little things, I'm trying to add them on the final line art. You shouldn't have a really detailed sketch, because it doesn't allow you to be creative. If you see that the sketch went a little bit lighter, it's because I copied the adjustment layer, and doing that, what happens is that if you just copy that layer, it duplicates the effect, so it looks more white and a little more lighter blue than what it is right now, as you can see. And I really like to do that, because that way you can see the liner without the distraction of the blue lines behind. So it's a nice way to do it. Just copy the layer and put it there. What else can I tell you about this? Notice that I'm trying to find some logic. I put a little bit of lines to imitate the sewing of the clothing. So if you want to flip the image like I did, just follow the steps that you can see in there. Image, rotate canvas, flip canvas horizontal. As you can flip the image horizontally, it really helps you to see the mistakes. Most of all, mistakes on anatomy, mistakes on perspective, all those kinds of mistakes are really easy to notice when you flip the image horizontally. So remember, go to image, rotate canvas, and flip canvas horizontally. You can do that. You can put it on the keyboard. If you see some of the forehead a little bit kind of like cut it, it's because I erase, I copy, and I cut a little bit of the mask and I moved it. I didn't like it where it was placed. So this is the kind of stuff that you should do at this point. Repair the drawings as much as you need and as much as you can right now, because later when you're painting, what is going to happen is it's going to save you time. Instead of just trying to fix the drawing in the painting stage, you can fix it right now, and later it's going to save you a lot of time. So I put a little thing on the neck to make her look more like in the original character, mostly because of the colors. I'm trying to put stuff that I can color it later. If I had the neck naked, it could be like painted. It could have like, you know, like war paint, some color in the neck, but it will be kind of messy. Like it wouldn't make so much sense. But if it was clothing, what kind of clothing will be? Could be a t-shirt or some kind of sweater inside, I don't know. But I thought it was a better option to have like a clothing in there, and I think it works better. Another thing I wanted to do is to make the clothing tight, because I really don't like those versions of Harley Quinn that the cloth is too different from the original character. I'm trying to kind of keep the same color scheme and at least the shape, even that it's not the same, of course. I'm trying to keep the shapes, adding other stuff around. Like for the neck, you can see I have one clothing hanging on the middle with the little balls, and two from the neck of the t-shirt. But it's more like it's the neck of a shirt, but it's more like she took it from another shirt or something like that, and it's just hanging in there, so you can see how crazy she is. And in the hair, I just put those little kind of like a balls that are like, I don't know, cats or stuff like that, and it doesn't seem practical, but I thought it was a good idea. And it's just hanging there with the hair, like she just put it there with the hair. She doesn't care about that kind of stuff. It's going to look a little bit disorganized or messy, but that's the idea, right? I don't want it to look like pretty. That was the main point of my painting. So for the background, we just took this picture of the movie where Anne Hathaway is as Catwoman, and I really like the city background. I don't care too much if she's in it because we're going to erase it later. And I just put it blur. The blur you can do it going to filter, blur, and you can use the Gaussian blur or the lens blur. Now that we're going to do a clipping mask, what I'm doing is just filling everything with one color, and I really like to use gray most of the time. So what is a clipping mask? A clipping mask allows you to, well, that's the word says, make a mask. So whatever you draw is inside of that mask. So I want to create a new layer, and I'm going to push right click in that layer and create clipping mask. So whatever I draw in this new layer, as you're going to see, there are the instructions if you didn't catch them. Everything is going to stay inside of that drawing that is under. So that's basically what I'm doing with the Harley Quinn right now. I'm doing a gray fill, and then I'm going to create a new layer, a new clipping mask layer. So if I do the same thing on the logo, create a new layer on top, and then go to right click and create clipping mask, what happens is whatever I draw on that layer is going to stay inside of the shape or whatever drawing lines, you name it. Whatever you have under is going to be the mask for the thing that I'm going to paint in that layer. So here I'm just putting some random colors so you can see how it works, but it works really good, especially when you're painting cartoony stuff. is really nice, and you can use it at your advantage. There are several ways to use this, like you can find your own technique for it. So basically what I'm doing here is just that. I'm going to fill all this drawing, all this liner with this gray color, and then whatever I draw there is going to stay inside of this gray silhouette. So that's the main reason for creating clipping masks. It works really great when you use them this way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a lot of pictures on the internet about clothes, several shades of black and shades of red, and I'm going to use those to put in like different materials that that she can build her suit. Okay, so once that we finish the clipping mask, we can go ahead and look for the pictures to start doing our composition. So I found a lot of interesting different kinds of photos, and I'm just placing them where I think they should be, the colors, mostly because of the colors, not too much the materials. And it's just that, just finding photos on Google. In this case, I mean, it doesn't have to be this way in every painting that you're going to do. In some paintings you will want to match the perspective of the materials to the drawing. I didn't consider that to be priority on this one, so I didn't do it, but I really like these details. Like she used whatever she could find to do this kind of suit, and it's really crazy in terms of materials and colors. So I really want to keep the color scheme, so it's going to be exactly as the original suit. The only difference is going to be that the materials and the other stuff. I did the colors from the Joker's head, and I'm just using the clone and the eyedropper to take the colors. I'm not sure if we want to use her completely white, but I think it would be a good idea to leave some of the skin color. Like in some parts she's still a bit more like the color of the skin. It has the makeup a little bit faint, like coming down. But it actually, I don't know, I do like it that is disorganized, like ugly, but not too much. I will definitely try to make her kind of pretty, because it needs to be that way, but not organized. So it's going to be kind of hard to do it, but I'm going to be totally able to do it. It's no problem with that. There I lost my clipping mask, so I have to copy it from another version that I had before. You always have to save the same drawing in several versions to avoid mistakes. It happens to everybody, so you need to do that from time to time. Save with another name, could be in the same folder of course, but at least with another name, so in case that you lost your progress, you don't lost everything. You lost, like, I don't know, the last 30 minutes, last 20 minutes, instead of losing everything. And notice that for the neck detail I use another kind of photo. Like, it doesn't have to be even in the same position or something, because I just want the colors. It doesn't matter what it is. So I wanted those colors for the clothing on the neck, and I just took those. It's like some kind of handkerchief on or something like that, but it has some blue shades and kind of like brown that I really liked, so I used that one. And here, even though she has her lips black in the original drawings, I'm going to put her red because I really like her to look kind of more, a little bit more pretty than the Joker version of Christopher Nolan. So this is about to be it for this episode, but I'm going to finish her for the next week. And I'm really glad that you watched this episode, and please subscribe and come back next week to check out the new episode. So this is it. Remember that I made these two tutorials about how to paint skin. The thing is, a lot of people were asking to how to paint a skin tutorial, and I thought of making this really well explained step-by-step tutorial with all the liners, all the materials, all the skin tone palettes, 20 guide pages, 2 videos, so it's really complete. And you can get it with the links that are in the description below. There are 2 pages, the Gumroad and the Selfie. The Selfie is for the PayPal people, and the Gumroad for whoever wants to get it. So it's about how to paint skin of men, how to paint skin of women, and it comes with everything, all the skin tones that you see in there in the videos. It's really well explained. It's more like a formula, because a lot of people were asking for an easy way to do this, and I thought, okay, let's do something that is really understandable. It's really easy to learn, and people can actually achieve great results watching this tutorial. And some people have tweeted me or Instagram me with their results. I've been really impressed by their progress. So thank you very much for those who have written me, and thank you for those who can get this material.